All right, welcome to another episode of NFL Outdated Cover 2 series. This episode, I am joined by the Los Angeles Chargers 2021 Fan of the Year, Jennifer Mills. How's it going?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And you've had some amazing experiences over the last couple weeks, and I definitely want to get into that. But first of all, congratulations on being the Fan of the Year. And I want to hear a little bit about your story of becoming the Chargers Fan of the Year this year.
Honestly, I don't know really how it happened. All I know is that a bunch of fans nominated me probably around May, June, July. And then I got the notification actually from one of my Dallas Cowboys fans who texted me before even the Chargers got in contact with me. So that was kind of funny. But it all pretty much started probably 3 seasons ago when I started doing my giveaways, just random giveaways, and I don't like to take the credit, but everybody seems to think that I've helped to unite our Chargers fan base on Twitter, and, I think that is what kinda led up to everybody whoever nominated me, for the honor of being the Chargers Fan of the Year. That's just, I think, how it all kinda, came about.
Absolutely. And so how did you kind of do that? Obviously, you have the Bolt Baddies group. Was that part of it, or how did you kind of really unite people
Yeah.
within the fan base?
I don't know. Everybody says that just I guess my positivity with the team
Hmm.
helped, and just online, if I saw someone having a bad day, I would just throw them a quick hello, how's it going, a mental health check, every once in a while. And with our group, the Bold Baddies, shout out to that group, that came about because a bunch of younger girls and, older fans like myself and others wanted a safe place that we can just go to and talk about football, and we won't have guys, throwing all their opinions at us. And so one or two girls put this group chat together and decided to call it the Boat Baddies. And then we created the account and had some fun with it on Twitter. And then that kind of created the men who created the Bolt Daddies.
Oh, wow,
And
cool.
so we have this little, butting heads of, going
Oh,
on just for
yeah,
fun. It's
yeah,
all in
yeah.
fun. So that was really great. And so that kind of united us with men on Twitter. And just throughout the years, just reaching out to different people, getting everyone to talk to each other on Twitter and having fun with it. I think that is how it pretty much, started uniting everyone together.
I love that. Yeah, because I mean, really, I mean, I started, my interviews and stuff. A lot of it's the positivity. I mean, connecting with uh, local fans, and just really, football is it's an amazing sport, an amazing NFL is an amazing game, and everyone watches the same game and can see some different things. And maybe even see different things, and it's a cool thing to just kind of unite around it and be excited about fan wise. And I guess I wanted to touch on how did you become a Chargers fan?
Oh, it started years ago,
Mm,
38 years ago when I was about 13 years old. I just picked the Chargers. My whole family was a UCLA-based family, so I liked the color scheme.
mhm,
Obviously, a lot of us girls do that about the uniforms. And my dad was actually a Rams fan. I'm like, "Well, I like
mm,
the Rams." Back then, I was more about the players. I liked players on different teams, Troy Aikman, Dan Marino,
mhm.
Jerry Rice, just like different players on different teams. It didn't matter to me. And then as I decided to pick a team for myself, that's when I was like, okay, now I'm really getting into it. And it just grew from there.
And so that was that the Dan Fouts era?
It was, but I was not necessarily a fan of him at the
Hmm.
time. I had my other favorite teams, that I was kind of rooting for, like Miami Dolphins and the Cowboys. But then slowly decided, okay, the Chargers will be my favorite team of all time, and I'm gonna just start focusing on them.
Yeah, and so back in the 90s, then when they went to the Super Bowl, what was that like?
For me, I was not the hardcore fan that I am now. I was watching, obviously, yelling, screaming like I always have as a kid, it didn't like hit me. The wins or losses didn't hit me like it does now that I've really put all my heart and soul into it. So back then it was, it was just easier to go, okay, they lost. Like that kind of sucked. Move on. But now it's just like, oh, gut wrenching losses. And, to be able to go to the Super Bowl when we do, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and it's gonna be, different as well, having the transition, to LA. What has that been like, as a fan? I mean, obviously, you have, San Diego roots and everything, but coming, to LA, what has that, been like?
Well, I live in LA, have
Okay.
always, yes. So I used to go down to San Diego with my family, with my kids, and when they were younger, and trying to get them into it. And
Mhm.
now I'm happy to say that my daughters and my husband, who wasn't into football when I first met him, we are all Chargers fans now. So that's even, that's like icing on the cake now for me.
Mhm.
But being able to go to the games down there with my friends and family and share that experience down at Qualcomm, it was a lot of fun. Best tailgating experience I had. But now that it's in LA, obviously I am now a season ticket holder, and the experience now is 1,000 times better. It's so much fun. The camaraderie with other fans, whether they're opposing fans or not, it's just such a fun atmosphere, honestly.
Yeah, and talk about the, Chargers, like, tailgate experience then, how much you're involved in that now.
Oh my gosh, the tailgating experience is like no other. It is so much fun. It gets you energized for the game. Everybody who's gone to Thunder Alley, where all of our clubs are set up, it is crazy fun. We are all there to be with each other and cheer on our team, and to actually be to see each other one on one. We haven't been able to do that
Mhm.
before the prior season. So this whole past season, it was all about getting to know each other, face to face, not just on Twitter. So that was really fun, I have to say.
And so what was that like? Obviously you had a chance, then to go to the Super Bowl as a fan of the year. Where were your seats at the Super Bowl compared to where your season tickets are?
So, yeah, so we have on obviously our tickets are on the home side, and we are on the club level on level 2. And our seats were on the south end zone and on the 5th level. Everybody who I have helped try to get tickets to games, everybody has said, at any level, the seats are amazing. And I do have to say, from my personal experience now, I was up there, on level 5, and from our end zone seats, we could see all the way to the other end zone. It was
Wow.
such a good view. We could see plays happening. I didn't have to look at the Oculus at all because I could just visually see it so clear. The seats there are designed very well, so everybody does have a good view, I have to say. So I was very happy with the whole experience.
Absolutely. And let's, talk about your experience and getting a chance to be a part of, just a whole host of festivities and, the NFL honors. What was that like, to be there in person?
Well, it was very nerve-wracking. We didn't know what to expect, but we were able to, walk the red carpet area in the background and see, the whole setup and experience all that. And just being able to walk in and, not knowing what was happening, we were all just kind of like slowly looking around and, just soaking in the experience since this is a once in a lifetime experience. And then at the honors, they had a whole outside setup before we went in, and it was just beautifully set up. It was nice. The weather was amazing, obviously. It couldn't have been better. And we all got to be able to sit down with each other since the honors was the first time all 32 of us were able to get together and talk in person again, because prior to that, we were all talking through Zoom meetings. So that was a nice time to just be able to sit and relax and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, and talk about like that community. I mean, I've heard from other fans of the year just how amazing and supportive of a community it has been, even through some interesting things with a Seahawk, with the Seahawk fan of the year. That stuff, talk about like what that community's meant, and maybe some of the fans of the year that you are closest to.
Wow. So, I didn't know what to expect going into this whole experience. And I'm so happy that I'm able to say I've made so many friends and lifelong friends that I know I will be in contact forever. There were, they were all great. And obviously, I connected more so with some than others. But within this uh, Facebook group chat that was set up for us, we were able to communicate and talk with each other and see what our lives were like before we actually met. So we already got to know each other that way. But to talk and listen to all of their stories, it's amazing. Like I was humbled by so many stories that I heard. And, you know, Henry Eisen, the winner, he's from the Atlanta Falcons. He's an amazing, amazing man. I love his story. He has an amazing story. And then there's Eli with the Colts. And then I connected with Stephanie with the
Hmm.
Titans
Hmm.
and Mark with Miami. So I mean, all almost every single one. I mean, I could keep going. I really could. It was honestly an amazing time.
Yeah, and I heard actually gave the Atlanta Falcons fan of the year like a big chain, then, right?
Yes. So Ben Baller created this chain and it was insane. Like it was probably, I think, over 10 carats of diamonds
Wow.
it put into it and the design. And I can't remember how much weight was put into it in just in gold. Like it was insane. Yeah.
Wow. And so, did you meet any celebrities as being on the red carpet and everything, and who are some that maybe stood out to you?
Well, I mean, I'm really good with faces. Sometimes names
Hmm.
just kind of go whoo out the window.
Yeah.
But I do remember seeing like Micah Parsons. I didn't meet
Oh,
him,
cool.
but there were all of the football players that were there were walking around. So all of us were trying to, find out who on our team was there. So luckily I was able to run into Austin Eckler. He's
Oh,
a
yes.
super great guy. He is like one of my favorite players, honestly. And then later I was able to run into LaDainian Tomlinson again.
Mm.
So that was really nice. And I was able to get them to sign my Fan of the Year jersey, which was really special.
Speaking of those players, like, are there, some of the other of your like maybe favorite past Chargers players that maybe you've met, or just some favorite players that you've enjoyed their game over the years?
Oh my gosh, there's so many, but my top 2 favorite past players, I mean, my name is Jennifer Mills 21. Like, it's obviously LT is my
Mm.
top player.
Hmm.
And then you can see behind me, I have a Gates jersey
Mm.
and Sean Merriman. So they are probably my top 3 players in the past that I just absolutely adore.
And so, with the whole experience, you had a chance to go to the Super Bowl, and it was an amazing game. Number one, what was it like being in person and just kind of getting to experience that? The whole everything about that.
Yeah. I never thought I would be going to a Super Bowl game unless obviously the Chargers were playing, because then I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure I'm there.
Hmm.
So to be able to be there at SoFi, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I can't believe it." And I was very close with Amanda, the Rams fan of the year. So I got to experience her energy, her emotions at the very end of the game. The ups and downs for the last 2 minutes was insane. So it felt like I was cheering for my own team because I know that's how I would be if it was the Chargers playing. So the whole experience, the NFL and Captain Morgan, they did a great job for all of us. We got to have the most amazing time, and I can't thank them enough, honestly.
Absolutely. And what was your favorite part of the halftime show experience live? Because it was amazing, watching on TV, but live, I can't even imagine what that was like.
So the I'm not sure what they're actually called, but the lanyards that we had to wear for the halftime show,
Hmm.
a friend of mine sent me a text saying, "Oh, BTS, they're known for this type of technology. I think they're using it for the Super Bowl." So I shot him a picture. He's like, "Yes, that's it." So while the music was going on, while every performer was, you know, performing their songs throughout the stadium, to see all of our lanyards like coincide with their music, and it was amazing to experience that because I didn't know what they were. None of us were until they obviously explained it right before the halftime show. We're like, oh, okay, what is it going to do? So that was pretty cool, I have to say. Like that's like the technology that has come so far over the years. It's crazy to see that in person.
Well, that's cool. I mean, you're not only watching the show, but you're a part of it.
Yes, yes.
And it would have been nice, obviously, for the Chargers to get to the Super Bowl. What were your thoughts on just kind of how the season went, and with the team this year?
Oh, I love my Chargers dearly. But this year, I've heard so many people mention that our team, we just never knew what to expect game after game after game. They were like Heckle and Hyde, or Jekyll and Hyde, sorry, Jekyll and Hyde, Dr. Jekyll
Hmm.
and Hyde. Like 1 minute they come out fierce and they just play like we know they can play.
Hmm.
And then the other games, like the Texans, like, right, we were supposed to win that game,
Hmm.
but somehow we just couldn't get it going. So that was a little hard to, you know, go through week after week, people saying, okay, which team's going to show up? So if we can get that under control for next season, I think we will have an amazing, amazing season.
And there has to be a ton of optimism just with having Justin Herbert there as well, right?
Yes, I mean, he's grown so much from first year to his sophomore year, where everybody was expecting a sophomore slump. Clearly, that didn't happen because he continued to just break more records this year, which was amazing in itself. So, if we can get him some help, there's no doubt that we can make a big impact next season.
And speaking of that, what type of help? I mean, do you see them, maybe trying to bring back Mike Williams, or what type of help would you like to see the
That
Chargers?
is the topic of the day right now,
Hmm.
or the week. It's gonna be the topic for a while, I believe. I love Mike Williams. I think what the coaching staff was able to do to help utilize his abilities, he was not just, a deep ball receiver. They've come to realize he can do so much more. And I think that's all because of our coaching staff. They were able to pull more talents out of him that he was capable of doing that prior coaching staffs did not, because they just, thought he was a one man show and deep ball was it. Like that's all he could do. But now that he's shown he can do so much more, he's so flexible in his position, I would like to see him stay. But if he doesn't, I wish him the best of luck, and whoever is able to get him is going to get a wide receiver one for sure for their team.
Yeah, it's going to be such an interesting, free agent, period. Just who goes where, and it. I think it always helps when a team has a solid quarterback and a young quarterback. The Chargers being in LA, that's definitely a destination. You saw that with the Rams,
Yes,
and so players I think are going to want to go there. And coaching wise, do you trust their head coach?
I absolutely trust Staley. I fourth and Staley, you know, I like to say that because I really do like his mentality. And he's instilled in our players that every first down, they're playing as if it's a fourth down. So when it is a fourth down, it's nothing new to them. They don't take it with a different mentality. They take it with the same mentality and they go for it. And I really do like that because you've heard other players mention it and they all are all for it. They have faith in him, they have faith in each other. And this team, this coaching staff, first year out, I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, and looking to, next year and then years to come, who would you say is the Chargers' biggest rival? I mean, is it the Rams now, or is it still kind of the Chiefs, Raiders? Who's the biggest rival?
Ugh, biggest rival. Oh, I know having the Rams winning the Super Bowl did not help with the so-called rivalry with the Chargers being the other LA team. But LA is such a melting pot for fans who are fans of every team that you've seen at both games, Rams games and Chargers games, that other teams show up. But you've seen it actually more with the Rams this season, I thought, than I even anticipated. And for the Chargers fan base, we actually grew almost every game. And that was really exciting to see. So I'm not sure if it's going to be the Rams as being our rivalry in that regards. I still think KC is probably our rivalry right now still.
Absolutely. And did you get a chance to go to the Super Bowl parade at all with the Rams?
No, I actually was out of town.
Okay.
So I
Yeah, I
was
was I was watching that and it didn't seem, and I maybe this is LA, but it just didn't seem like there were as many fans there.
yeah,
And I don't know if that's, if there would be more if it was a Chargers Super Bowl win.
of course I'm going to say yes.
Right, right, right.
Because when the Chargers win, everybody is going to make sure they're there for the parade because it's, something that we've all dreamt of happening, for umpteen years, right? Like, so I have to say, Chargers fans are going to stick around after a Super Bowl win and go to the parade. Absolutely.
And what would that mean to a Chargers fan? I mean, you've been through a lot of, ups and downs and some really good teams that you maybe thought were going to get there.
Hmm.
What would that be like just to, have them get there and then win it?
After seeing Amanda be so emotional, I I don't know if I would be like that. I don't know
Mm.
if I would be so emotional that I would fall to my knees and like be in tears, or I would be like a, you know, 10-year-old kid jumping up and down nonstop, screaming my head off, running around in circles, you know? Because at that moment when I saw her, like it's how you feel at that moment. So I'm not sure if I would be overly jubilant and excited or just emotionally just like take it so hard to heart that it would hit me and I would cry. I'd probably do all of the above actually.
I can see that. I'm actually a Cubs fan, and I didn't know what to expect in 2016, but honestly, still looking back at some of those videos, I do get emotional because you just think of all the times they lost. It's kind of weird to think, but you do have a connection with the team, for so long. It means a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Every time I would sit and watch the Dodgers play and, I would just pull my hair. I'd be doing my whole like, oh my gosh, is it going to happen now? So knowing how I was with the Dodgers, that's how I kind of can probably correlate how I'll be with the Chargers.
Absolutely. And so, with your the reign of the fan of the year, when does that end?
Um, it's I think until the next one is
Okay.
voted on or after the NFL draft, somebody said, because we're like, oh, our reign is over after Super Bowl. They're like, no, no, you're still there until the next one is named. I'm like, oh, but everybody's already joking, like, no, 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 you'll be the fan of the year forever now. I was like,
Nice. Oh, absolutely. And so, yeah, I heard that rumor. I mean, is that a possibility that they might have you come to the NFL draft or?
well, so last year for the fan of the years, because they were not able to attend the Super Bowl, that's how they were able to attend the NFL draft. So this season, still will be going because it is in Vegas, and we have another home in Vegas. So
Cool.
I will absolutely be going there with my club, with friends, family, whoever wants to go. I will definitely be there.
And what are you looking for, forward to about that experience? I mean, I've never been to an NFL draft. I've been to some training camps, and I can imagine, like, just as a football fan in general, it just to be amazing just to be there.
I can't wait. I have never been. So this year was my first year being a season ticket holder. Didn't know what to expect. This year before, I it was my first year at training camp. Didn't know what to expect. Both experiences were amazing. So I can't imagine going to the NFL draft wouldn't be anything but amazing to be sitting there and to see it all go down in person. I absolutely love watching it, with my kids when, if they happen to be around. It's just very exciting. So I just need to do my homework and, figure out who I'm hoping the Chargers will draft and see how it goes. And it's like it's like gambling, and we're in Vegas. Oh, who's gonna be now? So
Yeah, and speaking of, someone who kind of, is a central part of that draft, you had a chance to be on a Zoom with Roger Goodell. Were you able to kind of ask him questions, or how did that go?
oh, that was we had to send our questions beforehand, which I didn't realize. But
Oh,
that was a really good eye opener, I suppose, because he does get a bad rep
mhm.
for being the commissioner, and we were able to get some insight on why they've made some rules changes and why they do one thing, or versus why we would hope they would do something else. So he was able to answer some questions, which was really, it was nice to hear from his point of view, because like you said, football has a million points of view. Everybody sees things differently, and it's nice to know that they are thinking about the safety of the players first, especially with CTE and everything that goes on. So that was nice to hear.
Yeah, I think I heard a radio interview the other day about that. The commissioners are not meant to be liked. Obviously they're meant to get things done, and
Right.
he has gotten a lot done. As far as safety and everything. Is that that's kind of what sticks out to you as that interview with Roger Goodell?
Yeah, I do take that as being the main focus that he's had, only because of how the Pro Bowl went down this year.
Mm,
I
yes.
love the Pro Bowl, and I did attend. I
Oh,
was hoping that it was gonna be in Hawaii, and then realized it was again in Vegas, so I was like, "Okay, I'll be going." Um, got to experience that as well. That was a lot of fun. The skills event was great, but the game itself, because of the safety issues, and I don't know if I heard this correctly, but paid they're paid almost the same as they were paid 50 years ago. Like,
oh,
the
wow.
compensation or something to be involved with the Pro Bowl hasn't been enticing enough, I think, that the players want to play versus touch football or flag football type of mentality. So there were a few good hits that I saw, and when those happened, the crowd got excited, and we really, as fans, we want to see that. Obviously, we don't want the players to get hurt, but it used to be such an honor to be nominated and be in the, Pro Bowl, that they held that in high regard. So I was hoping to see that come onto the field as well. So maybe that's because of the whole emphasis on player safety. I don't know.
Yeah, and it could be on contracts, 'cause you definitely, understand, with football players, anything could happen, and you don't want, in a meaningless game, so to speak, you don't
Right.
want, someone to, lose out on a contract or whatnot.
Right. I mean, we do understand they want to stay healthy for next season, and majority of us get that, but it's gotten worse over the years, I feel like.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
this past one was not the best one to watch for sure.
No. Well, kind of speaking of that as well, do you go to all the training camps then with the Chargers?
Well, this was my first season, and I did go 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
I was there on the first day. Oh my goodness. So my friend and I it's about just over an hour drive for me, and got up around 4:30 to line up so we could be the first one on day 1. So that was really fun. But yeah, I'd like to be able to keep going at least 2, 3 times a week because every day is it's something different.
Yeah, and what do they do with, some of those different things and maybe, also autographs? I know I've been to the Bears training camp. I actually have been to the Vikings training camp when it was in Mankato, and so I've seen some different things, but what do the Chargers do with their training camp?
Well, this season was different with their training camp because of COVID. So they were not allowed to come up to the fans. And so if they wanted something signed, people would be throwing items at
Wow,
people,
yeah,
and then they would throw it back. So it wasn't, as close. I mean, they were still 10, 15 feet away.
yeah.
So hopefully things will change for the next season coming up. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely appreciate your time, and I look forward to hearing more things online, and you know I like to see different teams in the Super Bowl. The Chargers, of course, I love their uniforms. But I definitely would love to see them in the Super Bowl.
Yes, I mean, I'm right there with you. I love their uniforms. Obviously, that's what made me a Chargers fan all this time. But I feel like in my bones, like give us within the next 5 years, we will definitely be there. I want to be there next year in Arizona. So come on, Chargers.
That would be a great one. That
Yeah,
really would.
yeah.
With I guess one last question with the Chargers, I would have to say are probably the best uniforms in the league. Who would be the second best uniforms in the league in your opinion?
Ooh, second best uniforms. Oh, that's a tough one, honestly. I actually I actually did like the Falcons uniforms.
Mm,
I
with the
did like
ATL,
I did.
yeah.
So, I don't know if that's yeah, they're new ones, yeah. When they came out, I was like, I actually like those, so
Hey, at least I'm a Bears fan, so at least you didn't say the Packers, so I like that.
oh, I would never say the Packers, sorry.
Good answer, good answer. Well, thanks again. I definitely appreciate your time. And where can everyone find you again?
Oh, I'm on mainly on Twitter, Jen10 Mills. You can find me there.
Perfect. Well, one last, Chargers chant. I'll let you have that.
I'm sorry?
One last Chargers chant. Is it bolt up or
Oh, yes, everybody always says, "Bolt up." "Let's go Chargers, bolt up."
very good? Thanks again, Jennifer. And we'll definitely, look forward to 2022.
Yes, it should be a great season. Thank you so much.